Hey guys, it is Allison from Allison Answers and Logger Counseling Services, and today we are talking about authenticity. So the avenue that we're going down this week in our fourth week is proclaiming our rarity. What we had done all along, which has been a beautiful, beautiful process, is initially identifying how the formulation of self came about. So the influences over who we are, how we act, the way we think, the way we feel, how we identify ourselves has been created by some things that we didn't have say so over. So in the first place, we took a really good look at what are the things that created our identity. Then the next thing we were talking about is being able to recreate an identity with the understanding that our identity is a fluid experience, that it's an ever-growing beautiful garden, right, that we're always adding to and changing and morphing, and the base of ourselves is always constant and there. However, we are developing into a better and better and better version of ourselves as we're moving through, and we're accepting and being fully who we are in that process, embracing ourselves. So that's the next kind of thought, is that we're also embracing the person we are in the moment, and then kind of knowing the areas that we want to tweak, the areas we want to prune, and adding value and creating and seeing it as a beautiful process, not a process of ridicule or criticism. And this week, our last week on authenticity, is we're going to talk about the power of proclaiming your rarity. It is such a powerful, powerful thing to do. Because if you think about rarity is something that equals value. However, we spend our lives trying not to be rare, which is the most valued thing, in order to belong. So somehow we've coupled together the idea that if I am rare, that if I'm unique, if I am different, if I am the original, because if you something that's authentic is usually original, it's genuine. There aren't a lot of them, and we are snowflakes. Every single one of us has something different about us. We are all supposed to be unique. And we have bought the lie in order to survive in a culture. We've bought the lie that we need to morph into and look like everyone else. And when we don't, we are then either feeling like an outsider, we're feeling like we don't belong, we feel a sense of shame. So what I want you to do this week is to really, really pivot throughout the entire week. Every time you notice something beautiful and unique about you, let me rephrase that, because I'm calling it beautiful, but you may not. You may notice something unique. You may notice how you stand out. And that immediately triggers a sense of shame. So I want you to be able to, this week, we're keeping it super simple. You're going to be pivoting away all week from shame associated with uniqueness, associated with rarity, associated with the passion that's inside of you that's a little bit different than everybody else's, as it should be. That is what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it something to be admired and looked at with awe. When we see something, like the Mona Lisa, there's only one. Everybody's copying it, but there's one. The Stradivarius, it's like, it's like we look at other people who are unique, and either we judge them or we're like, wow, like that's special because they can do that, or we don't think about the value of what we really, really are when it doesn't fit into what everybody else is. So I want to encourage you to be awake and aware in the now, without judgment and with peace. In regard to every moment throughout this week, you're going to be looking at the moments of rarity, the moments you want to laugh when no one is laughing, the moments that you think of something that no one else is thinking, the moments that you are awed by something and no one else is, or you have an idea that's never been thought of before. Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to have an idea that's never been thought of before? Imagine that if you had an idea that's never been thought of before, or you saw yourself really visually as the most precious thing because there's never been one like you. So there's a few things that I'm going to have you do this week, as I'm going to have you list all the qualities of you that are different than anyone you've ever known. The things about you that are different, and then the things about you that you hide. And then you're going to spend the week embracing and valuing your rarity, pivoting away from shame. I'm also going to have you list the shame that you have in regard to anything rare in you. Okay? This is a movement. Remember, we're changing the mindset of the female to being loving of self, loving of others, not fearing what other people think, becoming a light, changing incrementally ourselves and thus the world around us. This is kind of our thing. We are creating a collective consciousness for women that is different than the collective has been. So we're going to embrace rarity. And the thing is, there's a beautiful balance about being rare and unique and also being able to be a part of, because we're a sense of belonging. We're also connected to everyone else. So if you look at a beautiful garden and there's all these different unique things, even weeds, they look cool and beautiful in there. If you think about it and you just look at it, right, they fit in with everyone, all the other species, if that's what it's called, of plants, right? But it's a symphony, and you want to allow yourself to not, a lot of times when people are proclaiming their rarity, they're rejecting others because they have to fight for their rarity. You know, they're either ashamed of it and hiding it or fighting for it. Like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell you right now, that is nothing about what I'm talking about. There is no fight. There is just ease. It's just a sense of allowing. So I want you to think of your life as discovering, allowing, embracing, and being. Discovering, allowing, embracing, and being. Okay? And I'm going to have you, I'm shortening the videos because I want you to be able to have the time to do them. Okay? So get to your PDF, and I pray you are so blessed this week, pivoting away from the shame attached to your rarity. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, ladies.